Okay, let's do this. Hey, I'm Virgo and this is Psychedelic Actualization. On this channel we talk about topics like self-realization, self-actualization, working with psychedelics to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. Welcome to the next part of my Ayahuasca series, where I report back my experiences from my 14-day Ayahuasca retreat. If you haven't watched the first 3 videos, click right here to watch the whole playlist from the beginning, where I report back about my intentions, the first night and the second till the 4th night. This is a new week of the Ayahuasca retreat, and I was still on the diet. By the way, if you don't know what to eat before your first or second or third Ayahuasca experience, how the diet goes, how to prepare, I've prepared a worksheet for you completely for free. You can click the link in the description down below and download the worksheet if you're interested on how to prepare for your Ayahuasca ceremony. But yeah, next week it was Saturday and Sunday break, which was really nice to a little bit relax, and then we had ceremony 5 and 6, and definitely stay tuned till the end, because ceremony 6, the second half of ceremony 6 was, I think it was physically the most interesting psychedelic experience that I've ever had. Like, just the potential of what psychedelics, specifically ayahuasca, can do, also on the physical level, is just mind-blowing. So definitely make sure that you watch this video till the end. Ceremony 5, it was again a bigger dose. Like every ceremony, I naively, you will see next week in my 7th ceremony report, that ayahuasca kicked my ass for that, but every single ceremony on this retreat, because I wanted to get the most out of it, I was asking for a bigger dose. All the time I was asking the shaman just for a little bit of a bigger dose. Just give me a little bit more. And he was always just like, tranquilo amigo, calm down a little bit. And you will yeah, ayahuasca kicked my ass for that. I don't know if it was because of the dose, but we'll come to that next week. So subscribe that you don't miss the next part. Ceremony 5, a little bit of a bigger dose. It was coming on strong. It took me somewhere, a little bit out. I don't know where it took me, but it didn't really matter anyways. The purge prepared itself very early. It was a very peaceful, enjoyable experience, kind of. I was letting go, I was accepting everything. And then it was a very effortless, good, nice, clean purge, throwing up. And I just held, like, when I was walking around outside, I just had like this DMT vibe. I was looking at the trees, just like when I smoked a little bit of changa, just like the DMT vibe in the trees. And a very nice ceremony. And that was it, basically. Nothing special coming down. But didn't matter anyways, because the 6th night, the next ceremony, was the complete opening. A complete opening and an experience of infinite sickness. Very interesting. So, we had full moon. It was a full moon night. We had a new batch of ayahuasca. Finally, the black ayahuasca was gone. The physically difficult experiences were gone. Well, not gone. This one was the most difficult physical experience. Wait a moment. But the difficult purging was done. I felt like in ceremony 6, the physical preparation, the physical cleaning was kind of done. So it was, again, a little bit of a bigger dose, the biggest dose yet. And when I drank it, I had a very, very early urge to throw up again. And I was trying to hold it in. And then the effects kind of started to intensify a lot. So it got really, really, really intense. And when I started to feel that it got really intense, I was like, okay, now I feel the effects, now it's okay if I throw up. And that's exactly what happened. I allowed myself to purge, and I had a very, very early purge, like really early in the experience, just like a few minutes after drinking maybe. Very early purge. The first time this retreat actually. Because all the other nights I had a really, really late purge. Just like near the end of the night. And the purge was preparing itself for a long time. But this one, really early purge, really nice. And then a complete opening happened.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I felt this immense joy of being alive. Just being alive and like being human with all its components. The infinite appreciation for that was incredible, and it made me cry in bliss. It made my jaw wide open. It made me laugh a lot. I was laughing a lot. Just like this experience of being alive. Like I wanted to scream, in a sense, scream it out. A big yeehaw! Big yeehaw to the fact of being alive. So that was so beautiful, so beautiful.
Just like this feeling of being worthy of being, feeling this true worth was so incredibly beautiful. It felt so good. And I was kind of touching my face all the time, kind of playing with my ears, with my nose. I was doing all kinds of different weird stuff, touching my beard or something, playing with it like a little child. Because I was kind of playful and I was kind of in this rapture. It was just rapture, ecstasy, bliss, just miraculous bliss and ecstasy. It was really amazing, and I had like this childlike energy, getting into weird positions, and it felt so good. I had infinite gratitude for this opening, that it was finally happening after this first very difficult week. Exactly this was like the experience I was searching for. And it's very interesting. We'll get to that also in a minute. Because like it's, and I was talking about it last week, it's love. Love is including the pain and the pleasure, and not just seeking the pleasure. But this one, it just felt so good that I finally got what I was asking for. This opening, this feeling of infinite gratitude. But it's interesting, like, how do you handle that? Because you want to be, at least I want to be accepting and embracing those difficult experiences as well. But like our mind kind of desires or prefers these beautiful experiences of rapture, ecstasy, bliss, the opening. But nevertheless, it was finally happening and I was infinitely grateful for it. It was so beautiful, like the whole vibrations in the body, just like everything, like this full body orgasm kind of, this so beautiful, so beautiful. I had those experiences like a couple times before on ayahuasca, and I had it again, and it's just so incredibly beautiful. And I was trying to calm myself down. It's like to contemplate stuff, and then the laughter and the rapture and the ecstasy was kind of starting again. And I was just like wow, just like wonder, appreciation for the medicine, for this experience, and a full-on experience of joy. Very nice. And I was in the moment and I was just enjoying it to the fullest for a couple of minutes. Because then there was the big transition. Even just after a couple minutes of this bliss, the whole experience turned upside down. And it turned from this state of infinite bliss into an experience of infinite sickness. And this is where the really interesting part begins. Because I never had such a heavy physical psychedelic experience. I mean, some came close, but this was really remarkable. So I started to notice in my state of bliss that my nose was kind of blocked. My nose was kind of running. And I was noticing that, and I couldn't breathe properly. And I started to feel like really, really, really sick. And it was almost more intense than this infinite blissful rapture, full body orgasm experience that I had. And I was thinking to myself at first, like, oh, I just get sick right now. Maybe last week I embraced the rain, it was raining on me a little bit, and I'll probably get sick. And then it got really intense, and it got more intense, and more intense, and more intense. And I was like, maybe I get really sick. And I got worried. It's like, can I drink next week? Can I continue on my travels really healthy? And I was just like, okay, let's just see what happens and embrace it. And I kind of understood that it was a kind of a purge that was happening. It still felt a little bit like a cleaning. And I felt like I had to go through this experience of horrible, really horrible sickness now. It was just hitting me like a train, and I felt like I just had to go through it now in one night. And that's exactly what happened. And it was one of the, if not the worst state of health that I have experienced in my whole life. It was incredible. So my nose was blocked, I was not being able to breathe, and then it transitioned from one kind of sickness to another kind of sickness. So I was coughing, then I had a headache, then I had nausea, then I had stomach pain, then I just felt physically really weak, and then I had body pain everywhere, and then I was just fluctuating through all these different kinds of sicknesses. Then I was sweating, then I was freezing, and I was just like shaking the whole time, and just like going through that sickness, and it felt horrible. It just felt horrible. It felt like a really, really intense flu, but just like 1,000 times stronger, and it was intense. It was really, really intense. And I was going into weird yoga positions. I was kind of knees to the head or something, just like curling up into a ball, sometimes child's pose, stretching, turning around, kind of twisting my body in different ways. And it was just weird. And I was going through different states of mind.
At the beginning I was like, oh, what is that? I'm getting sick. Like at first I thought I was just like, my nose is running, I'm getting sick, maybe in the days to come. And then it started to intensify, and I was like, okay, this is a big sickness. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna embrace and accept that also, and surrender into the healing of it, because it also felt like it was healing me. Like when we get sick, I guess when we get sick, our body is in the process of perfect health, because it is cleaning us of something uh, that is in us. So I was kind of also, there was a period where I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the pain. I was like, oh yeah, I feel so sick, nice. It's like really, really enjoying the pain. I was like, yeah, I'm going through it. I was like singing to myself, like step by step, moment by moment, one step at a time. We're going through this. Oh yeah, baby.
But also, it turned the other way around sometimes when it intensified more and more and more, and it just got more and more horrible. For example, I was thinking of having cancer because I experienced it. Because I experienced it like it was so bad, and I thought like, what if this is cancer? Uh, and I had like horrible images in my mind, and then I noticed like, oh shit, like this is a dangerous thought, because I can manifest cancer if I imagine it. I am so powerful in this state of being that I could potentially manifest cancer if I imagine it strongly enough. And I was just like, okay, let's throw that idea out of the window. Please, let's focus on something else. And at one point, it got so intense that I got to a point where I seriously considered that I was physically dying. And it was very, very horrible. And I spiraled into really dark thoughts. And like really dark images started to unfold.
And still I had like these imaginations of being sick for the next days, if I could drink the last 2 ceremonies when I'm that sick, that I couldn't breathe for the next month. I was like afraid of the sickness, that I could not continue the travel as powerfully as we did for now. It's like, wow, what if I have to go to a hospital and see a doctor because it got like so bad, so intense. And I was like, okay, but now I realize, like, ayahuasca is a doctor.
Like I was seriously afraid of this sickness. I had a feeling of fear inside me of sickness. And it's really interesting. I'll get to the integration part of that experience as well, because it had a lasting impact on me, which was, I don't know if it was positive or negative. I don't want to label it that way, but it definitely did something to me, and it taught me something. And sometimes it felt like it just didn't want it to end. I was just like, when does it end? It doesn't end. It felt truly infinite. And I was like, at some points I was just like, okay, seriously now, this is enough. Like, it really is. I've had enough of this. Like, please, just let it end now. And it was just going on and on and on. And it felt like it would go on forever. Just an infinite state of horrible sickness, of the most horrible sickness you can imagine. And I thought just like, I would never get out of this.
It's enough, that's enough. It's, wow, it gets too intense. Please let it stop. I couldn't breathe, I cannot breathe, and I was like worried, and yeah, at one point I was like worried that I would physically die. It was almost ready to call for help, for someone to get me through this. But I didn't, and I went through it myself.
And then I was just switching between, like, okay, it's okay. Like, it's okay. If I'm gonna die right here, right now, I'll let go into that and it's okay. And then I'm switching to, no, like, wait a minute, what about my family? What about my friends? What about my life purpose? Like, it's not okay to die right here, right now. I don't want to die. I really want to experience this life a little bit longer. And it was a really interesting teasing, because in comparison to the next experience, the 7th night that I'm gonna report back about next week, stay tuned for that, please do. This was peanuts. And it was just a little bit of a teasing of like, okay, I'm ready to die, or I'm not ready to die. And next week we'll get into the experience of facing death very deeply and very intensely. And yeah, it was just like teasing me that I haven't fully transcended my fear of death yet. And I was just repeating to myself, like, it's okay to go through this. It's really okay. And I was just praying to God, praying to myself, praying to the medicine at times as well.
It made me get on my knees also. It's like at one point I was just on my knees because I felt like I had to purge the bucket before me and just like bowing to the bucket and praying to God for help, praying to God for grace, for guidance, for strength of getting me through this. I was just on my knees, praying to get through.
And after some time, I don't know how long, but it felt very long, it slowly faded. And I slowly got better again, and I felt good again. And it is really unbelievable. Like, it is incredible, right? What it can do. Like the medicine. What it can do to your body and to your consciousness. Because after this experience, I was thinking, like, this medicine, a plant medicine, has the power to send you through a night of infinite physical sickness that you go through in just one night. And it felt like I was going to have that for a month. But at the end of the night, at the end of the ceremony, I felt good again. I felt healthy again. I felt like I went through this. And it's just really remarkable, right? It's really unbelievable what it can do to your body. And still, it felt like I had to go through this. It felt like a purge. Because going through this is an act of healing. At least that's what I feel like, right? And after that experience, like at the other nights, I was just tired, falling asleep. After this, I was just wide awake after the experience. Just like very energized, like what happened? And it's interesting, it's very interesting, because at the beginning of the experience, it gave me exactly what I asked for. The opening, the love, the bliss, the full body orgasm, the realization of joy and love and bliss, right? But then it turned really quickly into this infinite sickness that I had to go through. But in the back of my mind, I was still keeping the gratitude for that previous experience, for this opening, for this love, for this precious gift that it gave me, the full-on opening, the realization of joy and of infinite bliss. I was keeping that, and I had this gratitude in the back of my mind. It's like, if you can give me that, then it's worth going through this night of infinite sickness. I'm happy to do that. Whatever, I don't understand how this medicine works or what it has been working on in my body. But I kind of trust that it was working through something in my body that needed to be worked through. And just to give me, it's very intelligent, right? This medicine, at least that's my theory. It's like, it just gave me this little piece of light, this little gold nugget of experience that I could hold on to, that I can be grateful for, what I was desiring, right? Just to make it easier for me to go through this infinite sickness. Because the first week was very challenging. If it had been the case that I had to went through this without even a little bit of a nice blissful realization, it would have been really, really, really hard. But yeah, that's just like my reflection upon it. And it kind of made me ready for what's to come. And at the end of the experience, still, even though it was very intense, even though it was very deep, and even though I had an opening and kind of a physical sickness and a facing of death, at the end I naively felt ready for more. I still, after 6 nights of drinking, felt ready for a bigger dose and a deeper experience.
Yeah, but I'm grateful and also ready to drink more. It's like in the ceremony I was like, no, I'm not gonna drink more next nights, but I'm ready. It's true medicine. It's working.
And I don't know if that was a good thing. But I was naively asking for more. And the next night, the 7th ceremony, it gave me way more. Way more than I asked for. It terrified me to the core of my being. It scared the shit out of me. It absolutely blew my mind. And I'm gonna report back about that experience next week. Stay tuned for that. Tune in for that trip report. It's gonna be just mind-blowing experience, the deepest experience of my life. Subscribe to the channel to be notified when that video is coming out. To just follow along if you want to follow along. As I said, if you want to know how to prepare for your ayahuasca experience, I put together a worksheet that you can download for free. In the video description is a link for that. You can follow me on Instagram, Psychedelic Actualization. And yeah, I'm wishing you a beautiful day. I hope you can take some value out of these trip reports, because I'm just reporting back my experiences, and maybe there are some valuable insights for you. If yes, then please let me know what kind of insights you got out of these trip reports so far. I would love to hear it in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching till the very end, and for being here with me and for following along. I love you all, and I will see you all in the next one. Sinti wa piku na kurpo yanta pani